Hello, America. Hello, America. You know, sometimes those words, I mean, if you're living in some cities in America, I bet it sounds a little alien to you because it might feel a little more like you're currently behind enemy lines if you're living in places like Portland or Chicago. Does it feel like America in some of our places in our country, some cities in our country, or does it seem more like the People's Republic of? Then you just insert the random city name, you know, the People's Republic of Portland. It's about to be the People's Republic of New York. Later in the show, I'm going to talk to Nick Sortor, who has a firsthand account of the insanity that is currently going down in Portland, Oregon. And I want you to watch when, at some point in the interview, I was talking to him, I did the interview earlier, and a police car goes behind him. And it's a great distance behind him. And his whole body changes. You can tell he no longer views the police. He's a supporter of the police. No longer views the police as an ally, having his back. We're living in a different time. Nick was wrongfully accused by the Portland Police Department, and charges against him have all been dismissed. He's suing the Portland police, and I think he should. He was there to document how the police handled Antifa attacks against federal officers. And in doing so, as they're going after him, he is just trying to just be cool, not get into a fight. And he's the one arrested, not Antifa. It's interesting. Nick's been invited to the White House today, along with people like Andy Ngo, to talk about their experiences with Antifa in places like Portland. My conversation with him in just a few minutes. Now, there are two very painful reality checks that need to happen right now. The first one goes for the radical left, and it goes as follows. Donald Trump won the election last November, but it wasn't just any election. It was a historic landslide that showed an unprecedented shift towards the right. There was a clear mandate given for President Trump's agenda, and at the top of the list was fixing the broken border and deporting illegals. Right beside this was restoring law and order. Now, I'm sorry for this reality check, but it couldn't be more clear. But here is the second reality check, and it's for anybody like me or you that might have voted for this historic mandate. The left is so clearly willing to do whatever it takes to ensure the will of the American voters never actually happens. It is stunning. And that includes violence, real bloodshed in the streets. For the people trapped behind the lines within the People's Republic of Portland, it means you have been forced to endure over 100 straight nights of Antifa, the thugs, running your entire city. And I really mean running it. You watch as federal officers exit their buildings every night and proceed to get attacked by everybody who is, I think, clinically insane, some of them, violent anarchists and leftists. Instead of the evening, smell and sounds of a great, vibrant city, you smell tear gas and hear explosions. And this is just one city, and it's not the only one. In the People's Republic of Chicago, things are about to get much worse than even Portland. I mean, just saying that seems hard to believe. How could it get worse than Portland? Well, in Chicago, federal agents are stalked, chased down, and ambushed. And on top of that, the local police there are being held back. They were denied the ability to respond when federal agents called for help. Get into this here in a little bit, but I mean, could you make it more obvious what they're doing? Could you make it any more obvious that they are declaring war on the American voters and on the United States of America, our federal government? As it turns out, yeah, they can. Here's the mayor of Chicago on Monday.
And today we are signing an executive order aimed at reining in this out-of-control administration. The order establishes ICE-free zones. That means that city property and unwilling private businesses will no longer serve as staging grounds for these raids.
Just curious, what do you call it when an elected official issues orders in direct defiance of the U.S. government? I mean, I think some could call it an insurrection, at the least. But it is a bit bigger than a, whoops, my bad moment. This is a violation of the supremacy clause of the Constitution. You want to talk about the Constitution and our republic is under attack? Here it is. The authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Has the mayor of Chicago or Portland heard this little part of the Constitution? Do they care? Or is it now they just don't care anymore? They fully embrace the attitudes of their little street thugs and soldiers where it is by any means necessary. And the political violence now endorsed as a legitimate means of resistance. In the People's Republic of Portland, it's not just federal officers that are in danger, but also journalists who are trying to report on what's happening. Katie Daviscourt, she's a reporter for the Post Millennial, she was given a black eye after being smacked in her face by an Antifa-affiliated thug. Now, according to Katie, the Portland police didn't do anything in response. Quote, I immediately ran to a Portland police officer, hunted down the suspect, chased her through the streets and said, this is my assault suspect. Can you guys finally do anything? Portland police refused to come in and make an arrest. What? Why are the police holding back when it comes to any moves at all against groups like Antifa? I mean, why are they being held back? And who's holding them back? Is it the cops? Is it somebody hired? Are they scared? Are they in on it? Whatever the answer is, this is clearly a trend. I showed you this from Chicago, but I want to put it back up on the screen. This is the readout of the Chicago Police Dispatch. The call came through from ICE asking for help at 12:28 p.m. Now, I want you to put yourself in the position, you're an ICE officer, okay? And you are there in the field. Imagine the nature of this call. And you are now surrounded by people who literally want to kill you. Federal officers, quote, surrounded by a large crowd of people. Now, we know this involved multiple vehicles ramming into the cars of the federal officers. There was an armed woman. Shots were fired. Imagine this call at 12:28 p.m. We're surrounded. We need help. Send backup. Now look up at the timestamp for what followed. 12:34. That is 6 minutes later. Now, I've never been in combat, but I imagine if I asked anyone in combat how long 6 minutes feels when they're in combat, I would think it would feel more like an hour in the fog of chaos. At 12:34, directly from the chief of patrol, no units respond to this. The dispatcher actually had to go back and say, wait a minute, just to be clear, they said they were surrounded, and you want me to call off all units? Yes. Okay. Now imagine how many more times ICE agents called back to Chicago Dispatch hoping for some kind of response. Did they even respond? Or did they just sit there in silence? I think this must be a lot like how average citizens feel in these Antifa hellholes. Places, you're an innocent bystander. You don't want anything to do one way or another. You just want your life. It's happening all over the country. You see thugs ripping apart their streets, people being assaulted, but by and large, nobody comes. Nobody's going to go and stop them. And you just get used to crap like this. In 2020, a pedophile Antifa member in Portland pled guilty to stabbing a black conservative at a riot. Now, imagine, you would think that he'd be locked down for at least a decade. That's attempted murder. Well, you'd be wrong. How long do you think he spent in time in prison? No prison time. Why do the police refuse to respond to Antifa-related crimes? Why do judges refuse to punish them? Why do city officials look the other way? I mean, you're either in on it or you have something else. I mean, it's almost like Antifa has a lot more support, organization, and funding than what's previously been reported on. Is Antifa more than just a decentralized and leaderless movement? Oh, let me pick it up there next. It is time to stop letting pain set the agenda for your life. Relief Factor is a doctor-formulated, drug-free supplement designed to support the body's natural response to inflammation. That's the root of many of our everyday aches and pains. So you can move with less stiffness, more intent. I mean, this is not about masking the symptoms for an hour. This is about helping your body find a better baseline so your mornings aren't a struggle. The things that you love to do don't have to wait. People using Relief Factor often report easier morning motion, fewer interrupted days, and more energy just to show up for work and family and the weekend plans that they want to keep. It's simple to try. It's meant to be taken consistently, and it doesn't come with a groggy side effect as some prescriptions will bring. 2 out of 3 people who try Relief Factor go on to order more month after month because it works. If you're done letting pain call in the shots, try something that might help you get back into the ring, sharp, present, and ready. You can give their 3-week quick start a try for only $19.95. Visit relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 800-4-RELIEF. 800, the number 4-RELIEF. So let me show you some progress, some things that are good that are happening. After years of political violence, the Trump administration has finally designated Antifa as a domestic terror organization. And I want to show you specifically some of the language used in this designation. It claims that they are a militaristic, anarchist enterprise. It uses illegal means to organize and execute a campaign of violence. This campaign involves coordinated efforts. They recruit, train, and radicalize young Americans. They employ elaborate means and mechanisms to conceal its funding sources and operation. Now, I want to point this out because you've never heard Antifa described this way, at least not from Democrats or anybody in the mainstream media or liberal think tanks. This is what you're used to seeing. Antifa is a decentralized political movement with no central leadership. Show me another one here. Or Antifa. Antifa is a decentralized, leaderless movement. How about this one? A broad and decentralized political movement. Okay, so it's decentralized and leaderless. Did you get that? Okay. They're ramming these words in through our brains time after time after time, and it's in every single source. Why are they doing it? Well, it's pretty obvious, and this last source inadvertently describes the reason for the subterfuge. In characterizing Antifa's methods, they describe it as, quote, extraordinary, radical, and in some cases, violent and illegal means. So there it is. It has to be decentralized. It has to be a lone wolf. It has to be leaderless because the politicians, the police, the activists, and all of the other enablers know that if violent and illegal means are happening, then anyone caught helping, organizing, and funding them should go to jail. And none of these people want to go to jail. They'll use all these crazies, but they don't want to go to jail. So are they a decentralized and leaderless organization? Let me ask you this. You remember when Keith Ellison tweeted a picture of himself holding up a copy of the Antifa handbook? Now, this is an elected official in Minnesota holding this up. Wow, that's quite the commercial. But did you know that the author of that book is Mark Bray? And he's a professor at Dartmouth College. Now, he allegedly donates half of the proceeds to Antifa. Okay, all right. Okay, whatever. Except who do you write the check to? I mean, if there's no centralization, there's no leader, who do I write the check to? What bank is cashing that? Is he donating to AIR? Is he just opening up somebody who's decentralized and leaderless, come and grab this money? A decentralized movement that hosts training conferences in city like Philadelphia. But they have no apparent leader or organization. Who's planning that? Universities like CUNY in New York. They have entire courses on global Antifa. It's a 14-week course of far-left revolutionary activism at a college located smack dab in the financial epicenter of the world. But it has no recognized leader, no organization. That's bullcrap, and everyone knows it. I'm going to show you this was just off the cuff, okay? This is how hard it really is, okay? So let's just speculate here for a minute. Let's call it a starting point for people at the FBI or Justice Department as they begin investigating leads. For far too long, the people potentially supporting Antifa have remained in the shadows. That's what Trump is going to end. Is Antifa more than just a decentralized and leaderless organization? Well, I've split Antifa up into 3 different categories: street groups and soldiers, that one, support groups, and funding sources. But let me start right at the top with the street groups and soldiers, because this is where the politicians, the media, and the think tanks say, that's the investigation. You just can investigate these guys, nothing else. Don't look here. But the groups are all over the news, going back to around 2016. Groups like Rose City Antifa Portland, Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club, Eugene Antifa Oregon, Atlanta, Pittsburgh Antifa, Refuse Fascism, Jane's Revenge. Now, you've seen the carnage of these groups all over. We continue to see it every day in places like Chicago and Portland, but this is where we're supposed to stop looking. They can't find anything because the trail goes cold there. Antifa is decentralized and leaderless. Well, if that is true, are these guys who don't work, a lot of them are on drugs, crazy, are they self-funding all of these things? Because how do we get to the next category, which is support groups? For instance, the National Lawyers Guild. This is the legal arm for Antifa. If you've been in a riot or seen anything on TV, you're watching on the side, there are people standing on the side and they're wearing the green hats, okay? That's the National Lawyers Guild. They openly brag about how they provide legal support to the street soldiers. But there's no organization in that, no. Next, we have Antifa International. This one's kind of hilarious because the people who describe Antifa as decentralized and leaderless, you have an Antifa International. It's like BLM Inc. From an Antifa fundraiser, and again, who do you write the check to? They're described as, quote, an international anti-fascist collective with years of experience managing the International Anti-Fascist Defense Fund and other anti-fascist projects. So you have no central control, no base of operations or anything else, but you have years of experience managing. Really? How about Antifa International? Antifa International helped fundraise the Legal Defense Fund for the militants that attacked the ICE facility in Texas. And while we're at it, take a look at Community Justice Exchange and their National Bail Fund network. They were bailing people out during the Summer of Rage of George Floyd riots. They're probably worth looking into, specifically due to their major partner, which is, oh my gosh, the Tides Foundation, our old friends at the Tides Foundation. Look, these connections, these organizations are legion. We are legion. Yeah, that's probably what they say. Anyway, remember, as per all the politicians and media experts, no centralized organization. Okay, but you have the support groups that are supporting them with no organization. And then you have this, funding sources. Now, this is interesting. Again, who do you write to check to? This is split between nonprofits and foundations, also crowdfunding sources. Now, I already mentioned the Tides Foundation, one of the darkest of the dark left-wing radical money funnels on the planet. Who knows all the trails that lead back to Tides? But just for starters, let's look at these. Tides Foundation funds an organization called Alliance for Global Justice. Money from here. They refunnel money to groups like Refuse Fascism. They also give to the National Lawyers Guild, over $1 million from 2018 to 2019 alone. Are you going to write a check for $1 million to a leaderless group that has no organization at all and just say, yeah, you guys know what to do with it? Who knows what to do with it? This is how the radical left-wing money trail operates. It's designed to be opaque. It's designed to be confusing and disappear. But the connections are all there. So why haven't we done anything about it up until now? Okay, up next, who else but George Soros' spooky dudes, Open Society Foundation. They also fund the Alliance for Global Justice. They also are with the Antifa support groups. The charitable funding sources are legion for just that one. Then you have Fidelity Investments. Where do you have your money invested? Fidelity Investments Charitable Gift Fund. They donate to the National Lawyers Guild. Also, Schwab Charitable Fund. Boy, if I had my money in Schwab, or Fidelity, I don't know if I would have it. They're giving to the people who are supporting these people. I mean, I could go on, and we haven't even gotten to the crowdfunding platforms. You have ActBlue and Patreon. You have Fundraiser, the Action Network. Then you have book sales. Book sales? Oh yeah, book sales like the college professor that produced the Antifa handbook. Look, I'm not accusing anyone here. I'm just saying this is pretty much off the top of my head. I'm just showing the connections that have a very strong odor attached to them. And I've followed these people long enough to know this is the way it works. This one chalkboard alone is enough for the Trump administration just to start. I mean, just start. And they are. And it should be enough alone just to debunk the ridiculous notion. Just the question, who are you writing checks to? $1 million check. Who's cashing it? What bank? Where is this happening? Schwab is giving to just street kids who, what? It's ridiculous to believe that. Ridiculous. Antifa now has been designated as a terrorist organization. It is about time. And it is time to turn over all of the stones. I am proud to say that after the first of the year, we're turning over not just the little stones, we're turning over the big boulders as well. We will show you in an epic special much more on this. Okay. After the break, I'm going to come back. Nick Sortor joins me from Portland. I talked to him earlier today because he was arrested in Portland in a crazy story, and he'll tell you about it. The charges have now been dropped after getting wrongfully arrested when he got attacked by Antifa. They weren't arrested, but he was. Today, he spent time at the White House to talk to the Trump administration and what he and people like Andy Ngo have experienced in some of these Antifa-ravaged cities. I got up with him before he flew out to Washington. You're going to see and hear his story, and that is coming up next. I don't know if you saw today, but the price of gold, last I checked, was $4,060. $4,060. It was $4,005. That means it went up $55 just in a couple of hours in trading today. That's insane. I've said for years, you get to $5,000 and the world is on the verge of absolute collapse. We're headed there. Goldman Sachs just said that's where we're going. We are on the precipice of everything in our life changing. And if you have to take high blood pressure medicine, you have kids, two of my daughters needs anti-seizure medications, where are you going to get them? If the trucks stop, if the 7 companies that are responsible for 60% of S&P, all on AI, if that is a bubble and that goes down, what happens? You're not going to get that medication, at least for a while. But that's where Jace Medical comes in. They exist so you're not living at the mercy of an out of stock, You call them up or you get them online. It's a simple online consultation. You'll meet with a licensed medical professional. They'll review your history, and where appropriate, they will prescribe a Jace case. This is a thoughtfully curated supply of emergency antibiotics first, and then your essentials, packed with clear doctor-written instructions so you understand what each medication is, how it's used, how it's dosed, when it's supposed to be used, et cetera, et cetera. Jace has been and continues to work hard to expand their lineup so you can have total preparedness solutions tailored to you and your family's needs. waiting for the anti-seizure medication my girls take, so I can have that at home just in case. Look, I'm sure you store additional food and water because you care about your family. Store that peace of mind in your medicine cabinet. Go to jase.com, enter the promo code Beck. Check out, you'll get a discount. That's promo code Beck, JASE.com. So, Nick, can you start with giving me just a little color? Because I hear Portland's on fire. No, it's only a block. Can you paint the picture of what Portland is like right now? What's happening? How out of control is it?
I mean, Glenn, it's a lot more than just the ICE facility down here. The entire city is in crisis with crime and lack of arrests, besides of journalists, I guess. I mean, you go downtown in Portland. That's where I was staying in the beginning, and I had to move because they found my hotel and they followed me to it. So you walk around downtown at night. I even had a cop tell me that, that I should get to where I'm going and order an Uber rather than walk to where I was going, because they released me from jail in downtown in the middle of the night. And they're like, yeah, you shouldn't be walking around down here. And Glenn, I'll mention, this is quite a large city, right?
Yeah.
There's one jail, and that's the jail that I was in. And I got arrested about 11:30 at night. And that entire remainder of the night, only 3 people came in. 3 in this entire city. So they're not arresting anybody. Crime is out of control. People don't trust the police on either side here. It's rotten to the core, and so that's why it creates a lot more of a problem than just. I know they want to say it's one block. Yeah, it's one block that looks like freaking Baghdad, but the rest of it looks like a third world country.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning on why you went there. Why did you go to Portland?
Well, at first, I had been hearing so many things about the police and the absolute lawlessness that was going on here right behind me. This is the ICE facility, but it's the morning. These people don't do much in the morning, so luckily I can be out here without being assaulted most of the time. When Katie Daviscourt, reporter for the Post Millennial, she was attacked with a pole. And I watched this video of her attacker walk down the street and say, and you had a cop following this assailant. And the cop said, "Stop, you're being detained." And that attacker said, "F you, no, I'm not." And then just slowly walked away. And the cop just watched. Right? And you do that in any other city in the United States, even most blue cities in the United States. You're going to get thrown on the ground and tackled, handcuffed, and maybe even tased, Glenn. But that didn't happen here. They just let them walk away.
So can I ask you, are they afraid of something? Are they just, is everybody just dead inside? They're like, we're not going to be able to do anything because the elites won't let us do anything with these people, so I don't really care anymore. Why isn't this happening?
Honestly, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the Portland Police Department and the city government are afraid of these terrorists. They're afraid of the political ramifications from actually holding these terrorists accountable. And it's not just the police that are scared of it. It's the residents next door that live in this apartment building that you can actually see it over here. They're afraid to speak out, but I was talking to one resident last night where 3 o'clock in the morning, they're used to hearing megaphones and screaming and explosions. And he's stuck in a lease. He's an older gentleman, a veteran, stuck in a lease, has PTSD. And he says that he's watching children crying in the elevators, and police won't do anything about it. The city won't do anything about it because they've all sided with these Antifa terrorists. And we put out we made a demand for discovery to the district attorney yesterday, right before they dismissed the case. So I don't know if it was coincidental or what, but we demanded all communications related to coordination between the Portland Police Department and these Antifa terrorists. And they sure as hell want that to be buried.
Wow, what are you alleging here? How do you mean the coordination between the two?
Oh, I absolutely believe that there are conversations that continuously happen between the leaders of this Antifa group out here. It's Rose City Antifa to be specific, and the police department. I know that they coordinate, and in one way in particular, where the Portland police the other day relegated traffic control duties around here to Antifa's people. So all the small businesses and stuff that are at the end of this street, there's only one street to get to them. They were at the mercy of Antifa. Antifa was only letting their own members through, not patrons of the businesses, nor their employees. And the employees would come out and talk to the police and be like, what are you guys doing? Why are you allowing them to control the streets? And they said that was their arrangement with them. So, I mean, like, they're clearly coordinating. So
let me ask you this. Do you see any evidence of I mean, because they're supposed to be leaderless. It's just a collection of leaderless people. Are you seeing any connection of coordination from a mother group or anybody else? Or is it just the kind of coordination where we're going to protest today at 5, great, we'll be there and we'll be off the site? What kind of coordination are you seeing? Not just with the police, but anything else?
Yeah, so they're given marching orders. There is a national group, but most of the stuff here is done by what's called Rose City Antifa. And they do have leaders that are on the ground they pretty much live here. There was a video of me the other day. I was walking down the sidewalk where they have decided to, I mean, every day this thing gets bigger, this encampment, bigger and bigger and bigger, and people around here aren't allowed to walk on the sidewalk. And they camp here every single night. The leaders of these riots that happen out here. And the Rose City Antifa leaders, they're all out here pretty much around the clock. And you ask, okay, how do they do that? Somebody has to be funding it. Somebody has to be paying for all this stuff, all this food, all the equipment. I mean, it's not cheap.
And it's not free. Let me play the 3 clips, and if you could take me through this. This is you before you're arrested, trying to put a flag out. And Antifa surrounds you. Let's play that clip here.
We got a Trump supporter. We got a Trump supporter right here.
Oh, he's putting it on the ground and he's making it worse. And now he's standing on it. Now he's standing on it. You're not supposed to stand on it. Oh, he's saving it.
Okay. So why did you do that? I mean, other than it's the right thing to do, but why did you do that?
I can't help myself. I mean, if you're going to sit there and burn a flag in the middle of this, I mean, in that case in particular, it wasn't just burning the flag. It was also, you know, you're burning it in the grass next to a bunch of timber. And there's just some crazy ass homeless guy that's going to end up, you know, this tree hangs over the ice facility. You're going to end up setting the freaking tree on fire. And I mean, that's a public safety hazard at that point. So you can say, oh, well, you're trampling on his First Amendment rights. Whatever, dude. I still have the flag. It's in the back of my car, and I'm going to keep it. I actually did it a second time last night too. And depending on which cops are out here, there's one patriot in particular that's fully supportive of me doing that. So you know, President Trump the other day, when I took that flag, and that video went viral. That's when he put out a post on Truth Social saying that they were actually going to start, by that post, he was ordering Pam Bondi to seek 1 year in jail for everybody doing that. And I know he put out an executive order earlier this year, but he reiterated that on Truth Social immediately after this video.
Okay, take me to the next clip. This is the initial altercation. Here it is. I don't know how you put up with this. Tell me what happened there.
Yeah, well, only in Portland does the victim get arrested after they've been punched and thrown into a hole. I mean, what I was doing was I was trying to walk back to my car to get another battery for my camera. My car was down that sidewalk, which is the sidewalk on the opposite side of the road from where the encampment is. So apparently, you're just not allowed to walk down the sidewalk at all in this part of Portland. And I mean, as you can see, like I gave multiple warnings. I kept putting my hand up saying, back away, back away. I'm just trying to walking down the sidewalk, and they don't take that for an answer. And you see that umbrella pop up, right?
Yeah.
They do that in order so that, because they knew what was going to happen here. This was like a planned attack. They put that umbrella up hoping to hide the fact that I was going to be punched from the camera that was behind me. And they missed. The umbrella fell too early. So it was caught on camera that I was the one that was actually punched. And they broke my camera at that point, so I have to use my phone now for this stuff. And then threw me in this hole. And it was soon after that I walked over to the group of police officers, like 12 police officers on bikes, that I walked over there because I wanted them to protect me, to help me. Not allow me to continue to get beat by these people in the street. And so I stood next to them. I talked to them, and so I got police rolling up on me now. I just never know what's going on. And they ended up arresting me rather than arresting my assailants.
Really disturbing when a law-abiding citizen in a U.S. city. I can see the reaction even in your body language. With the police behind you, you are concerned that the police are not your friends. And
I'm a big supporter of the police, Glenn. I have been for the longest time. That's why I'm actually out here supporting a form of police here, at the ICE facility.
Let me play the last clip I have where you're attacked again.
This is a sidewalk. Get out of the way.
Whoa, whoa. Okay, so this whoa. You're not missing it. I need an umbrella!
You're no longer allowed to walk down the sidewalk in Portland, or else you're gonna get jumped and pushed and shoved and assaulted here. And we're live, right? We got it. Okay. So now you're gonna get assaulted. You're gonna be pushed. You're gonna be. Don't do that! Where'd it go? No, man, I got you.
And you're arrested after this.
No, that one I wasn't arrested after. That one was that one I had the one patriotic cop that I have found here was actually on duty that night, and he told me that I could walk down that sidewalk, and that and then they can't stop you from doing so. And I didn't try too hard. I was basically we were live at the time, so I was demonstrating for the camera that you're not allowed to walk down public sidewalks in Portland without being assaulted. And by that, I wasn't assuming that they were going to grab me and wrap their arms around me and steal my flag. And that's exactly what happened here. And it wasn't wasn't particularly pretty. But
when they arrested you, what were you arrested for?
Disorderly conduct. And that is a hell of a claim, considering all the fires being set, all the munitions, the fireworks and stuff being blown up in the middle of the night over here, all the cops that are assaulted, all the vandalism in the street. The disorderly part about what I've been doing is exposing the BS and the lack of action on the fact of this, on the part of the city and the police department. That's what was disorderly to them.
Do they treat the Portland police officers different than they treat the federal officers?
Absolutely they do, because they don't see the Portland police as their foe, because the Portland police doesn't arrest any of them, pretty much ever. Yeah, that was one of the demands that we made in our letter yesterday, was we want to know exactly how many of these thugs have been arrested here in the past 30 days and for what, right? Because when you're seeing journalists being assaulted in the streets by, I'm talking about Katie Daviscourt here again, and they don't arrest the assailant that beat her with a pole and gave her a concussion.
Yeah, really bad.
Then, why would you not think, if you're Antifa, that the police here are on your side?
how do the regular people feel? I mean, this has been going on for a very long time. And the people keep voting the same way. What are we to take away from that? I mean, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. I grew up around my share of hippies, and where I grew up is very similar now, Bellingham, Washington, to the attitude in Portland. And you're alone. If you disagree with it, you're alone. What is the attitude there?
I mean, just over the past several days, I have seen a wild increase in residents from the area coming up and confronting these people. They're tired of not being able to get to their homes. They're tired of all the screaming and yelling at 3 o'clock in the morning, obviously. But the problem out here is that the local media will not cover it that way. They will not show the residents here pleading for help, because they're also afraid of these Antifa thugs. They do this thing. The Antifa guys go up to the media and demand that they say something supportive of Antifa or whatever movement, or anti-ICE, or pro. Like in this case, they were making them say pro-illegal propaganda and stuff, just as a way of. It's like pledging to the mafia, right? Back in the day, it's like just for safety. You say whatever they want you to say to do so. So these reporters from the local mainstream media will not negatively cover these riots ever.
So I'm seeing what's happening now in Chicago. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And the local police, even the mayor, the governor, are making it a safe place for people like Antifa and not law-abiding citizens. If we don't take care and clean up Portland, Chicago, what happens? Where does this go?
I mean, it's already starting to feel like it's like this place is not even America anymore. If we look, we have the mandate right now to do something. President Trump has the mandate. He has the American people behind him to put this nonsense to bed, right? Because there are plenty of reasonable people that live in these cities that are victims of this crap every day, right? This is our chance to do it. If we don't do it now, I don't think we'll ever have the opportunity to do it. This is the best time, the best opportunity we've had in history, in modern U.S. history, to clean these places up, to go in and look. You have one of the things that they're doing out here at ICE, and they know they're doing this. They are taking resources away from federal Title VIII work, as in deportation raids, because these ICE agents and these Border Patrol agents have to guard this facility, hundreds of them at any given time. So instead of them going out and doing these raids, they're here. And every day that passes, that's more and more illegals that we won't be able to deport by the end of the term here. And so that's why these activist judges are working so hard to block the commander-in-chief from deploying the National Guard to protect federal facilities, which I didn't even realize that was controversial, to have the National Guard guard federal facilities. So they know that it's going to be overturned on appeal, but every single day that they can delay and stall are more days that illegals get to stay in this country, and the less of them that we get to deport by the end of the term.
What is the percentage of people that actually have a brain that are involved in this, and how many are just, privileged doofs?
Yeah, I mean, another question to ask is how many of them are perpetually, have just fried their brains from drugs? That's right. What it seems like a lot of these people out here. They don't seem like regular human beings that you can just talk to. They don't have that ability. And I know a lot of them, like the left likes to take advantage of low IQ and mentally ill individuals. That's why you see trans militants everywhere at this point, especially in Portland, because they're emotionally and mentally damaged, and they're easy to take advantage of. So that guy that has the flag, for example, or had the flag until I took it from him, he's now done that twice. I've taken the flag from him both times. I have 2 burned out flags now. And he is clearly mentally insane. The guy needs help desperately, but the city doesn't like to call people mentally ill. So until it comes to prosecuting them, then they'll say that they're insane, but they won't actually help them. So these Antifa groups pay him. The police even told me this. They pay this guy to go out here and start stuff because they know that he won't be prosecuted. So they're taking full advantage of mentally ill individuals, knowing that they won't actually be prosecuted for anything because they're mentally ill. It's sickening.
We're living in a time where Gotham is real, and so are the Joker-like villains. It's quite an amazing time to be alive. Thank you. Stay safe and keep us informed on what's going on in Portland and wherever you go next. Thank you.
Yeah, and Glenn, I want to give you a shout out real quick to Mercury One. I just want to let you know, I was the guy that was working with them down in Western North Carolina. I was the one delivering all the Starlinks all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Down there in Western North Carolina.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry I didn't put that together until just now.
No, that's okay. I'm telling, but I mean, your organization is phenomenal, and I cannot say that about most of these groups that go down there, like the Red Cross and such. You know, people were saying, "Oh, give money to the Red Cross." And I'm like, no, give it to Mercury One. Yeah. Don't give it to the Red Cross. They're the ones that are helping, illegals get across the border down there in Mexico. So, no, thank you. Keep up that work, sir.
We will talk to you again. Thank you so much. There are two types of phone companies in America. One type takes your hard-earned money and quietly sends it off to fund politicians, lobbyists, activists who fight against everything that you believe in, from religious freedom to the right of life to your Second Amendment rights. Now, the other type, well, is Patriot Mobile. They're the only ones. Patriot Mobile was built for people like you, people who believe in this country, who believe in faith and family, who are tired of being forced to finance the destruction of all of the values that we hold dear just to get a cell phone signal. With Patriot Mobile, you get the same great 5G service. You're on the same towers, the same coverage, but your money goes someplace different. It supports pro-life organization. It defends religious liberty. It helps fund lawsuits that fight back against the radical left. And it supports our military, our police, and our first responders. There's a lot of people who are just making it month to month, and you don't necessarily have the money to give to charity. This is a way, you're spending this money on your phone anyway. You're going to pay less, and you're going to be helping these charities. You're going to be helping the cause. You probably have a phone, but you don't have to compromise your values to get it. PatriotMobile.com/Beck, 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Beck. Get a free month of service right now. PatriotMobile.com/Beck, 972-PATRIOT. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be with Megyn Kelly at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. I'd love to see you there. I'm going to be making a major announcement on what I'm going to be doing next year with Megyn. Check my website for full details, and I hope to see you in Fort Worth in a couple of weeks. From Dallas, good night, America.